Hello, and welcome to Casual Buddhism. I'm Cindy Rossico, and this is Venerable Dhammananda Pikuni, Thailand's first fully ordained Buddhist nun. And we have my friend Sally DeWitt tonight. And just for those of you who are new viewers, Casual Buddhism is a series of informal conversations about how we practice Buddhism in our everyday lives. So tonight, yes, go ahead, Venerable.
If we, Cindy, we just feel casually that we can share, not instruction, not instruction. Right. So each one of us can share our experience towards this path that we are trying to practice Buddhism.
Yes, and I'm glad you said that because it was really Venerable's idea to have this casual Buddhism. And I so love the idea that I asked her if I could borrow it. And she said yes. So now I'll ask Sally. She has a question for us on compassion. Go ahead, Sally, and ask your question.
Oh, well, let me start by saying, again, how honored I am to be able to ask you these questions, Venerable Dhammananda. This is very, very nice. And also, I really like the idea behind casual Buddhism because I emphasize actually to my own students that meditation is not about removing ourselves from life, but meeting life as it appears, as it shows up to us. And so to always think in those terms, in terms of bringing our meditation practice with us. It certainly has meant a lot to me. So my question has to do with practicing compassion. In another week or so, I'll be teaching about compassion, and I'm actually a beginner teacher. I've only been teaching for about a year now, after a 2-year certification course. And so this is the first time I've taught a group of beginners, and other than the practicum and while I was taking the certification course, this is the first time this is my own course. And in another week, I'll be teaching about compassion. So the question that I have posed is, in the context of the life that we live, let me just go ahead and read this question. Can we, indeed, should we, prioritize and practice compassion in the world we find ourselves in, where conflict and shifting power centers dominate the news and mankind's survival often seems to hinge on entrenched conflict, assertiveness, and unrelenting activism?
Sally, you see a bird, as you watch nature, the bird teaches us that, if one wing is lopsided, one wing is not working, the bird cannot fly. So compassion is only one wing of the bird. The other one is wisdom. So both of them have to be well balanced in order to take the bird across. Yes, you are full of compassion. But at the same time, at that particular moment, compassion alone may not apply. So you see with our wisdom to see whether it is the time, shall we wait? What is our response? So we cannot simply use compassion all the time. It needs to be balanced. Too much compassion, maybe sometimes it becomes harmful. But too much wisdom without the balance of compassion, you become a very dry person, very hard-headed person. Compassion makes our hearts soft. That's very beautiful quality, because only when the hearts are soft, only then we are alive. Yes? Mm-hmm. So as you said, you are just beginning to teach this meditation course. Best thing, Sally, is to always speak that Buddha Dharma that has been practiced yourself. You can always speak from your own experience how you overcome these particular problems. You know, it can be a small thing, but it is applicable. And you can tell them, this is what I have done, and this is what I feel that it worked for me. I cannot tell you what it worked for you, but at least I can tell you what it worked for me.
Yeah.
That is casual.
Thank you. Thank you. That's very helpful. Very useful, very helpful. Thank you.
Sometimes, you know, when we listen to the news, it seems as though there is nothing but negative energy coming through the screen, you know. So we have to take a deep breath and be anchored in ourselves in order so that we can be more composed.
Yeah. Today, I in a talk, I talked about bringing what are our unconscious habits and conditioning to a conscious level so that we could be more responsive in the moment. And I think that that's what mindfulness helps me with, is to see how I automatically or habitually respond.
Yes.
And then I can make choices.
So unless the water is transparent, only then you can look through the water to see what is beneath. You know, so this to have this clear mind is very important. Clear mind comes through the practice of concentration, samatha. This is samatha level, but samatha is very necessary for you to be able to see through. And when you see through, then you can identify the problem. If you cannot see through, you know, there's so many, how to say, so many things, you know, up at the same time, and you cannot see through. In our life, often when we are not anchored, when the water is still like this shaky, you know, so you cannot see what is below. Yes. So at this time, you need the practice you need is a samatha, concentration. Need to anchor the mind.
Thank you.
Cindy, you can join anytime.
Yes. Well, I think that in some ways I'm still learning meditation, and I feel that samatha is a difficult or more advanced state to be in. Is that true? Or
now I allow Paripurna to answer this because she's also our meditation teacher.
Thank you.
Okay.
So some people find that samatha is rather difficult because their mind, like a monkey mind, right? And that people try hard to stabilize their mind, but they don't know the technique. That's why the mind, their mind wandering around, because you've got so many things involved in your life, right? You need to think about your work, your family, or whatever. As a monastic, we take advantage of that. We have less of that. But anyway, still, when you practice a samatha, that means you, I would say not control, but you are mindful to observe the mind that wandering around. So the technique I share with our novice is that first thing first, you don't try to suppress or control the mind, but let the mind be wandering around, but not outside this body, your body. So I asked them, now you know that your body is still here, and just scan from the head to each part, to the
down to the
toes, and then backward. That's the first step, that you limit the mind not stirring out of this body. And the next step, I would ask them, now you place the mind gently, don't push, don't control, don't force, at the tip of your nose, the place that you can feel the touching of the breathing in and the breathing out. And just a couple of your breath, you follow that breathing in and out. That's the technique to limit the mind just wandering in the length of your breath, right? And then for a while, I would say, now don't worry about your breath. The physical body is going to adjust its naturally. Just sitting there like a kid, innocent kid at the door frame, watching people walk into the room and out of the room.
Not
It's like
reacting.
yes, don't follow them. Now the mind learn to sitting there.
Right.
And the work is very easy and simple. Just observe them, don't walk. So you can see the breath clearly, the movement of the breath. And for a while, if you're a good observer, you would see your physical body become still and move less on the chest, because the air element that take in and out is finer and finer, is tuned by itself, not by us. And once it's really gentle, really soft, until some people couldn't feel it, but actually it's still there. But it's very soft that you probably cannot notice it. That means you are about to entering into the concentration state of the mind.
Oh, nice. Oh, that was very helpful. Thank you.
That's very
Venerable
helpful.
Dhammananda.
So you know, actually, if you this part that Venerable Paripurna just mentioned, if you listen carefully, we can already start samatha, you know, to the point the mind is really settled. Instead of jumping around like the monkey, she limited to the physical body. And then within the physical body, she limits only to the nostril. And then to this breathing in and out only. And that's how you become more focused very quickly. Sally would get this point right away because she has been teaching that already.
Yes.
Well, I can't say that I've taught it that way, and it's so helpful to hear that in that way.
Yes, yes.
I've come back to the body.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. You know, so many of us, I don't know if this is cultural or not, but we forgot we had a body. So this practice of coming back to the body is, oh yeah, I have a body. It's not just the mind. It goes on and on.
Well, this is wonderful. Thank you all for joining us today. And particularly want to thank Sally, because it really has, I really like bringing people on. So I would encourage people to contact me and to seek out.
Join us.
Yes,
Yes.
with us, join us, because it's a beautiful experience and we learn so much from one another. So in just a moment, I want to thank everyone for joining us. And in just a moment, as this ends, you'll see my website and my Facebook page, and you can contact me and I'll bring you onto the Zoom link so you can join us. But thank you, Venerables Paripurna and Venerable Dhammananda and Sally. And that ends this session of Casual Buddhism.
Until next week.
Until next week, thank you.